Horror movies. If they're not full of plot holes and convoluted narratives, they are riddled with ambiguous questions and things best left filled in by your imagination. As no monster is quite as terrifying as what you can dream up in your own twisted, horrible, and downright depraved head. Takes one to know one after all. More often than not, there is gonna be some big old questions left behind when looking at scary stories. The sort of killer stuff that can make or break a movie depending on how well it's executed, leaving some nagging queries or giant world-breaking conundrums in their wake. Looking at 7 of the most pertinent what the heck moments in horror then, I'm going to try and fill in the gaps somewhat since movie studios just decided against doing that themselves. Creative genius that I am, I expect a check from Warner Brothers any day now. That or a cease and desist order, but I'll take either. So turn on your nightlight and settle in for the spooky. As I'm Ash from What Culture, and these are 7 unanswered horror movie questions that keep us up at night. 7. Alien. How did Ash know he was supposed to bring back the xenomorph? In the original Alien movie, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation made the sneaky move of switching out the original science officer for Robot Ash. Hello, fellow mechanical brother, right before the Nostromo's departure. Ash is eventually revealed to be an android to everyone else later in the movie, whose actual purpose on the ship is to ensure the survival of the xenomorph for what we'd assume to be further research and weaponization, since finding a giant killer monster with acid blood, super strength, and a very small but very sharp retractable mouth is a pretty useful military tool. But there is still the big old question hanging over the whole thing. How did Ash know that was what he was supposed to do? They had no idea what they were going to run into, yet he perfectly handles every interaction with the alien creature. Based on what we know from Prometheus, the Weyland side of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation was aware and interested in other life in the universe, so it would make sense that their androids would have a built-in order to bring back other life at the expense of the crew. Exactly the same as in The Simpsons when the Krusty Doll switch is set to evil. The corporation could potentially have a mandate that an android with that mission be supplied on every ship lest they hear an unknown signal. They just didn't count on resident badass Ripley being on board to screw it all up. 6. HELLRAISER. Why is the puzzle box so easy to open? The HELLRAISER series centers on a mysterious puzzle box, the Lament configuration, which, when opened, unleashes the Cenobites led by the iconic Pinhead upon the opener. A big deal is made about how hard it is to open the damn box, which would make sense as the person would really have to want to experience the dark pleasures of hell to open it, right? Wrong! From what the films actually show, all you need to do is press down on the circle shape in the box and it opens itself. Despite how many times the films insist on the box being hard to open, it seems that if we left the box in the hands of a blindfolded, fingerless, and also sleeping person, the Cenobites would still be turning up to say hi and steal eyeballs and put hooks in people or whatever it is they do. The possible answer lies in the box's history. Built by toy maker Philippe Lemarchand for the Duc de Lille, an aristocrat and master of the dark arts, as they all are, to open a gateway to hell and enslave a demon, the Lament configuration was made to order for one specific person and not intended for mass consumption. The theory is that the Duc de Lille was as dumb as a post. When you're hired to make something, you have to please your audience. If your audience ain't scoring very high on the smart eye meter, then chances are having just one big shiny button to open the gateway to hell is an unspoken requirement. 5. The Thing. Were MACREADY and BLAIR infected? This old chestnut. This is possibly one of the best endings in a genre film because it puts the audience in the same position as its characters. They don't know who to trust. After surviving a shape-shifting alien attack on their Antarctic base, MACREADY and Childs await their fate of freezing to death with a bottle of scotch. The most popular theory is that MACREADY was still human and Childs was infected, proven by him taking a drink from the bottle which actually contains gasoline. Something us humans, wink wink, very much do not enjoy a little tipple of, but nasty aliens definitely do. The Thing itself is uncovered after being frozen, so when a stalemate is reached, why would the Thing not simply wait to be frozen and try again? But why would Childs not attack MACREADY if MACREADY wasn't also infected to further the alien's reach as he's the last one left? Well, there is a double trouble theory. Childs was infected by BLAIR and MACREADY was infected sometime after the blood sample test. Since they're both infected, that is why they don't attack each other. The third possibility, though, is that only MACREADY was infected at the end, and he was infecting Childs in turn by sharing the bottle with him. Remember kids, never share someone else's drink. They're full of germs and DNA reconfiguring assimilation. 4. Martyrs. What was whispered to Mademoiselle by Anna? Martyrs follows a young woman named Anna, who ends up captured by a mysterious organisation that spends a lot of money trying to understand what happens in the afterlife by kidnapping and torturing people until they're on the verge of death in the hopes that they will become martyrs. It's not very nice, really. After she's taken, the process is enacted on her, eventually making her one of the chosen martyrs. The leader of this weird organisation is referred to as Mademoiselle and speaks to Anna to learn what happens after you die. In the next scene, Mademoiselle informs one of the members of the organisation that what Anna told her was clear and that he should keep doubting when he says he can't imagine what comes after. She then places a gun in her mouth and commits suicide. The end of Martyrs leaves us with clues but no decisive information. What did Anna say that inspired such dramatic action? Mademoiselle's phrase, "keep doubting," is an interesting clue. A favourite take on the ending is that Anna lied to Mademoiselle intentionally, meaning a punishment for doing these horrible things to Anna was that she was told there was no afterlife. And rather than having failed her followers, she kills herself, but realistically there's no true answer to this question. Mademoiselle's evil means will justify her end. 3. High tension. How did Marie kill everyone? This is one of the great horror mysteries. How could one woman be in 2 places at once and murder an entire family? This may be one of the most famous plot holes in recent memory, as they literally can and do drive a truck through it. Thanks, Roger Ebert, for that lovely line. High tension, aka haughty tension, aka switchblade romance, whatever you so prefer, could have easily been one of the great horror films of this generation, but they got greedy at the end. Some would have preferred it to be a straightforward slasher film rather than a bloody, nonsensical, psychological thriller, but love it or hate it, that is what we got. When the ending is revealed that it was Marie, not a random murderer, that killed off all of Alex's family, a whole world of decoding is opened up. The easiest answer lies in the opening scenes of the film, where we see a woman in a psychiatric hospital being put through hell. If we then take this to mean we are witnessing the events of the film through her eyes, this means we're at the mercy of a deeply unreliable narrator. Honestly, the most basic answer here is that high tension consists of Marie's version of events, which means that whilst it might not make sense, it is not supposed to in her own broken mind. Cheap, but the only actual way of stringing it all together. 2. The Exorcist. Why did Regan react to tap water? Let's be real, part of the demon's modus operandi in The Exorcist was to engage with Father Merrin. And to explore that, in one of the early exorcism scenes, Father Karras throws tap water at Regan, saying it's holy water. The demon reacts in pain, then Karras tells it that it was plain tap water, implying Regan is not possessed and it's all a mental health issue to exacerbate all the problems surrounding a diagnosis with incubating demons. This reaction could be taken 2 ways. The demon wanted to interact with Father Karras and thought if it reacted to things like holy water, Karras would be convinced of the possession, fooled by some sort of trick. Or perhaps the power of holy water comes in the conviction of the priest, since any water touched by someone of the church could be construed as holy. Him stating that it wasn't takes away the power, or something like that. I haven't thought this out a lot. Conversely, and more likely, the demon could have been playing along, as its real fight was with Father Merrin. The demon, wishing to get rid of Karras, faked the reaction in order to speed up the process of getting Father Merrin involved. Demons, man! They know what they want as much as cats do. 1. The Sixth Sense. How did Malcolm not know he was dead? For real, how? The closest explanation we can get is that Malcolm was a jerk. Throughout the rest of the film, ghosts we see are continuously reliving their deaths, whereas Malcolm seems perfectly content just helping Cole. This obviously includes other questions such as who hired him, how is he getting paid, and how does he keep winding up sitting silently at tables with lonely women. The excuses given in the film mainly consist of the fact that he had been neglecting his marriage. To be honest, if sitting in that sort of silence at the dinner table didn't tip him off that he was dead, he would have eventually died alone anyway. Swings and roundabouts.